It is.
When your hair's parted on the opposite
full
side.
moon May week.
What does that mean?
I saw that last night and I said, it's making more sense now. Full moon, end of the school year. It just, like the kids, I saw a lot of my teacher friends.
Are you opening right now?
A lot of my teacher friends are like, my classroom.
Hang on. Pause.
Okay.
Rewind. I want you to open with that.
Okay.
Okay? You ready, David?
We were driving home last night and I looked up in the sky and was like, it's a full moon. That explains a lot.
It does explain.
It's
There are
May.
some phenomena
Right now.
to that.
It's May, it's spring, it's a full moon. My teacher friends are posting, help, my
End of
classroom
year.
is like squirrels on caffeine.
Yeah.
And even at home with my kids, I remember those spring days. They just wanted to be outside and trying to focus on, hey, we have a finish line we need to get to. Work with me, people.
Right, we're so close. Just let us tidy this up. And a lot of people will do math during the summer. And another cool thing you can do during the summer is journaling. Now, we were talking earlier about journaling as a life skill.
Yeah.
And when you think about journaling as a life skill, you think about diaries or something like that, right? But it doesn't have to be that. It can be recording, what my kids said that was cute today, or what you did in your homeschool. Maybe you went somewhere, or what you were working on. The idea is you're creating a bit of a legacy, a keepsake, a snapshot, and there's so much value in that, don't you think?
Yes.
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 Even a gardening, like what was the weather today kind of journal is.
Like in those nature journals, as the weather is getting nicer, you're kind of pushing your kids to be outside. Like, you're going stir crazy, get outside.
But everything's
like,
a
give them
learning
notebook.
opportunity, right? So I brought a few of these kind of open-ended journals just to show you. So the nature journaling, this is a show and tell. This is not a deep dive, but they come in different age groups, different formats. A lot of them are prefab with some things to complete. Some are going to have drawing elements, which is adorable, because sometimes the little kids either can't or don't want to, or big kids, they want to draw what they're seeing and then revisit that.
A nice
That's
art.
Barry Stebbing, my art hero.
Yes.
So you're getting
Very
a little art
artsy.
instruction in that one.
Yes.
But there's also a neat thing for these kids who might not be big writers, right? Like journaling feels like unintimidating writing, like little snippet of writing.
It just has to be a snapshot, really.
It's just cracking that door open to getting kids writing and the benefits. I mean, they're processing their emotions and their thoughts. They're practicing their handwriting. They're getting more fluid at their handwriting.
Honestly, they're working on note-taking, too.
Sure.
Big time.
Those note-taking skills.
Deciding, they're making decisions of what to document, and that's a really good note-taking translation. These are cute. These are called they're like semi-complete journals. It's kind of that all about me type thing. What was your favorite color? So this is really a snapshot, and boy, are they cute inside. Different flavors to these.
If you could visit the mountains, the desert, or the seashore, which one would you choose and why? So they're just great little
Thinkers.
Yeah.
Little thinking.
To prime the pump. Isn't that what Ruth always says?
Yes.
Like something like free writing or journaling, that's what it does. It primes the pump to get ready for, the academic writing that we have to do.
And that would make it a great morning basket thing, to just have everybody working in their own little journal.
Yeah.
I've got some blank ones. These come from Peter Pauper. Now David, our lovely David, is going to link all of these things below. So you don't have to look these up. But these come in different sizes and
the cat
designs.
one might not be coming back.
Isn't that? I may have picked that on purpose. These are beautiful blank.
They're hardcover.
Yeah. These are really kind of that archival type thing that you're...
Almost like a time capsule, really,
I would love to know what I was thinking about when I was 10. I'm sure it involved kittens and riding my bike. You know what I mean? Life was good.
I talked to my daughter last night. I said, you journaled a little bit. Remind me, what were you doing as a child when you were just free creatively writing? She goes, well, I had a diary till my siblings got into it.
Right?
How dare they?
It's like a rite of passage, honestly.
They used to come with a key, right?
Yes, they did, and they got into it, and so that kind of put an end to that. But they like to journal. Oftentimes when we were like in church or doing things, like I would take notes, and a lot of times they would be copying, which is kind of like learning how to take
over
notes.
there?
Yeah. And keeping that, it's kind of fun to look back on some of those favorite challenges that you received, or where was that found, or finding that little diary, or the thing I always said I was going to do was write down their milestones, and I didn't do that, and I don't remember.
Like the baby book.
Like you said, the things that they say.
Yeah.
They said the cutest thing today. I really wish now, moms, just do it.
Just do it.
Because now I'm like, oh, I really wish I would have done that.
Right.
Because I don't remember. And now that I have a grandbaby, it's like, it's like, keep track of all that.
Put it on your to-do list, Amber.
Yeah,
You're a
I know.
busy lady.
I really like these guys because they're sturdy enough.
Go ahead.
They have that really fun cover.
Lenticular.
I really can't look at these very well.
Yeah,
But
you'll
these
get
would
nauseous.
be great just to throw, like if you guys are going on like a road trip or a family vacation and have your kids writing in the car to then when you guys get home to see how your child experienced the vacation that all of you guys were on. And these ones are just like quick and easy to put in there.
Vacations are work for parents so that kids can have this free, fun time. So that's a way to document. And then I just think, add some cute pens. We've got all these cute ones. Look at this little dog.
Oh, yeah.
That's how it goes on and on. There's a cat. And then some avocados, some little, those are cactus, but they kind of look like
cute
rabbits.
pen can be very inspiring.
Yeah,
It's
and it can
just-
be just their journaling pen.
And then the colors.
if you need that little gimmick to get a kid to write.
Right. So sometimes you'll find there's a curriculum that builds in journaling, and you've got some Abeka materials.
We did use the Abeka, and in my classroom, I went just a little further with it, with the writing with phonics and then writing with purpose in 4th grade and 3rd grade. So it is kind of part of the curriculum. There's going to be a lot of prompts in there. There's penmanship practice and things that they get to work on.
So just a little something.
But then in the back, it's just set up very nicely. In the back, it gives writing prompts, and it'll even give a story, like the beginning of a story, and then it'll say ... and you finish it, which is
Show
always
us one
kind
of
of
the
fun.
prompts. What's a cute one? Oh, read that
like
Zippy
here.
the zebra one.
Write a story about this picture. And then the next one is Zippy the zebra lived a happy life. He spent his days munching on food, playing in the water holes, and running with friends. However, there was something interesting about him. Zippy... ... You fill in the blanks. And
cute.
oh, my class loved filling out these stories, and then if they were brave, they would read it in front of the class, and everybody would clap.
Sometimes you're proud of what you come up
and
with.
And it inspires. We hear a lot of reluctant reader situations. I can't get my child to not reader but writer. Yes. Reluctant writer. And how do I get them to write? So sometimes getting them to write after every Monday we would have a journal entry day. So they had a notebook, and we would, what did you do that was fun this weekend? Think about your weekend. And then at the end of the year, they had this little journal of exciting things that they had done all year. And then at the back of it, we had put these little creative prompts, stories, and now they're these keepsakes.
They have like a little portfolio of their school year.
A little bit, yeah. And so it kind of, they can go back now, and some of them graduating and things. That's kind of fun.
I was noticing in these, which I like, are the lines.
Yes.
Because it's not just like, you're not just giving me a sentence.
Sure.
Like, fill the lines.
That space gives the kid an expectation. You know, if there's 3 lines, they're going to give you 3 lines.
Yeah.
Right.
Here's a cute photo prompt. Isn't that fun?
Write a story about the picture.
It shows little guy. It's like he had an idea. So what's his idea? I mean, and the thing about these is there's no parent effort on any of this. This is all just setting the scene, giving them a chunk of time, and you go, boy, girl.
Yes.
It's that creative writing, I think, is a little bit, for a child, a little less stressful than the grammar and writing structures and everything.
It's more low stake.
It is.
Yeah.
And, and some focus more on creative writing. And this is how they can do that. There's one idea that I heard that parents and children would do in their home. Sometimes it's hard to talk about some things. And so they would have a journal where the child could write in it a question, or this happened, or embarrassing thing, or I have a question about this, or maybe it's embarrassing to talk about, but they could write it in the book and then slide it under the door, and mom and dad could read it and then answer it and then return it back.
Yeah.
And then maybe we could talk about it later.
Caught off guard by the question in real life.
Right, right. Sometimes kids don't always express verbally, but they could learn how to write it down. Or
that was me. I don't know how many notes I wrote to my dad because I'm like, I don't know how to talk to this, so I'm just going to write it down.
Right, because you had that unique situation that you had growing up. And
losing a parent young.
Young, and even processing. You know, one of my kids went through a tough time, and it was the journal book that kind of helped to process and verbalize and write it out and just kind of get it out.
You're emptying.
And dealing.
You're emptying your head.
Right. Well, and doing kind of like a shared journal like that is another modeling. You know, if you want to instill something in your child, like a life skill of journaling to process these things, model it. You know, maybe it's not just a journaling time for your students, it's a journaling time for the whole family. So mom and dad sit down and,
I love that idea.
And journal as well.
Really
and then you end up with these family heirlooms, honestly, that get passed down. And I bought
and you
some
have
of
one.
those.
Well, and I want to look at those. Show me quick first this before we get into that, because there might be tears, and I want to.
This one is similar to like what we saw with the Abeka, but just not a full curriculum. This is a Charlotte Mason style. This is new. It's going to be in our enrichment catalog.
It's called Write Something Every Day.
Write Something Every Day, and it's dated. So like June 9th, write a diary entry. June 10th, do this. But it's kind of evaluating a lot of those language arts skills. And so there's going to be some reading selections in here. So I know for one of them, it was read the first chapter of this book, and it's provided for you in here, and then sum it up in your own words. And so they're not just the goofy, fun little prompts that we saw in there. Or my favorite one in Jump In one of the polar plunges is create a bumper sticker.
Oh, fun.
Because that requires them to like think very short.
Very succinct.
And so there are some fun ones, but there are some very academic ones, and 366 prompts, because you got to throw leap year in there. Very low stakes. You don't have to grade them if you don't want to.
And you could pick away at that through their entire high school or something.
Absolutely. And in the back materials kind of shows you, do you want to kind of focus on compare and contrast essays? Here are all of the prompts that focus on comparing and contrasting.
Like an index.
Yes, and persuasive and narrative.
That's really versatile.
It's very versatile.
Is it for bigger kids, older kids, or kind of middle school?
I would say middle school, definitely,
and
with
high.
those reading selections, because there's some Charlotte Mason style. They're that good literature selection.
And if you
there.
had this in a notebook, by the end, that notebook is such a representation of your writing
your
at
writing
that
journey.
period. Yes, your journey.
Yeah.
All right, I want to know what you've got for these family journals, because
those little family heirlooms. So like I have mine that I can just, keep replacing the innards to. And so I have, I have stacks of just these little brown books. So these come out. So when I fill them, I just take it out and put a new one in.
And this is your own
This
journal.
one's mine. So I have boxes full of little brown books.
Oh, that's cool.
My grandfather just recently passed away, and on a Windows 95 computer started typing out on a floppy disk his life story. And then because we had a digital copy, I just ended up getting it printed. And so now we have...
You did that through
Lulu Publishing,
who does our book contest kits. Yeah. That's so neat.
Little connection. So like
I just love
everyone in the family now has this heirloom in my grandfather's
what a
words.
legacy in his words.
Because he journaled.
Because he chose to start writing it down.
And that's the key. And now he has left behind his words that generations can read.
Absolutely.
If that doesn't inspire you to document things.
Is that what this kind is?
This one, this one was my mom's. I happened to find it after she passed away, but she started it the day she found out that she had cancer. And so like I have like in my mother's handwriting,
Her journal.
her journey through
With that left-handed
slant.
Beautiful
and
penmanship
yes. too. And so like her thoughts, her fears, her prayers over us kids. And so it's a wonderful.
There's also a little cautionary thing about what pen you use in this book.
Yes, like be mindful of that because pens have a tendency to bleed, and so like I have wonderful
where the one side's
the mirror
coming
side
through,
is
the other
coming
side.
through, but
yeah,
it's just a wonderful keepsake and memento to have. Like, I don't think she ever, meant for anybody else to see this. But I value it.
I feel like
now.
she hoped you would.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
So just like those little family heirlooms, the power our words have.
Right.
And so it's just a great modeling technique of like, you can leave something for your kids, in the form of words.
My grandpa had picked up, somebody gave him one of those types of books where it kind of prompted him on recall a memory of when you were a kid or all these different things. And so he took it as a challenge finally to do it. And he sat down every night and he filled out that page. And then when he passed away, my grandma went and had a copy made of the book. Like she just photo printed it, but then gave it to all of us at Christmas time because we were kind of like, who gets the book?
The guardian of the book.
And
yes.
It's the same, like it's.
But you just get to have their words.
It's the footprints of their memory that you can go back to and just kind of, and what a special legacy that you can leave behind. And even for us parents to be mindful that we can do that for our children.
We're instilling that in our children
and
as
leave
well.
that behind to them.
And it can start with a little froggy notebook.
So go get yourself a journal.
Yeah.
Get your kids some journals.
And just
and
start
some
writing.
fun pens and markers.
Maybe the archival pens for the big kids, or or for the little kids.
The avocado pen for the little kid.
I don't know how
Personalize
archival,
it.
but it sure is cute, isn't it?
It sure is fun.
Sure is fun.
We'll see you next time.